Hi, and welcome to the Tailored Expressions YouTube channel. My name is Terry, and today I will be sharing a nice little card that I created using some products from the Heart collection. So let's get started. So here's a close-up look at everything that I'll be using today. I'm starting off with Oreo cardstock, Sugar Cube cardstock, and Raspberry Sorbet cardstock. I will also use Raspberry Sorbet ink along with Peaches and Cream, Banana Cream Pie, and VersaMark ink. I'll also be using the blending brushes as well as liquid adhesive and our Just Press tool along with some masking tape, some foam squares, and white embossing powder. I will be using the Sincere Sentiment stamp set along with the coordinating dies. I will also be using the Stitch Rectangle Stackables and the beautiful Accent Artistic Branch die. So to start off, I will be focusing on the background scene first. So I'm going in with Sugar Cube cream cardstock that I trimmed to an A2 size card front. And I'm using my masking paper or masking tape, and I'm just applying that around the edges of the card panel. So what I'm doing here is I'm masking off just the outer portion of the card because I only want to ink blend the center. And this is a great way to create a nice focal point onto your card design. So again, I'm just using the tape and I'm just running it over the edges of the card panel, just creating a nice rectangular area in the center. And you can see here that that open area will contain my ink blending. So to start off with the ink blending, I am going in with Banana Cream Pie ink, and I'm using my blending brush here, and I'm blending this on the upper portion of my cardstock. Then going in with the second color, I am using Peaches and Cream, and I'm blending that onto the center of the cardstock. Just making sure to blend between the two colors. So you want to blend between Banana Cream Pie and Peaches and Cream. And when you move on to the third color, I'm using Raspberry Sorbet. You're going to want to make sure to blend between Raspberry Sorbet and Peaches and Cream. Doing this will make sure that your blending will look flawless. Okay, and now that my blending is complete, I love removing the masking paper because you can see how nice and clean the edges are. Okay, so now I'm going in with the Accented Artistic Branch, and I love this die and I didn't want to take away from it. So I'm cutting it out of Sugar Cube cardstock. I did cut it out twice and I'm going to adhere it together using liquid adhesive. I really like doing this because it creates a lot of dimension onto your overall card design. So now going back to the background scene that we created, I wanted to add a little bit of stitch detail to the overall design. So I'm going in with my rectangle stitch stacklets and I'm running that through my die cutting machine. Okay, so now let's talk about the sentiment. And I really like this stamp set because it has a lot of really good sentiments included in a set, and I couldn't decide which one I wanted to use. So I went ahead and stamped out 4 of the sentiments from the stamp set. I did condition my cardstock. The cardstock that I'm using here is Oreo, and I'm using my Just Press tool to apply even pressure onto my stamping platform. I did have to ink it up twice just to make sure I got a good impression. I then went ahead and poured some white embossing powder over the stamped sentiments and used my heat tool to heat set this. When I'm heat setting sentiments, I like to use my heat tool and heat set the embossing powder underneath the cardstock. I found that doing this helps set or melt the embossing powder evenly. And once I decided on the sentiment that I'll be using on my card, I went ahead and used the coordinating die and ran that out of black cardstock. I then layered it together using liquid adhesive. Okay, so now to assemble everything together. So using Raspberry Sorbet cardstock, I trimmed that down to 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. I also have Oreo cardstock here that I trimmed slightly larger than my blended panel. Using liquid adhesive, I am going to adhere my blended panel onto the Oreo cardstock that we trimmed slightly larger than the blended panel. I like doing this because it creates a little mat against the sugar cube cardstock. And now I adhere that to the raspberry sorbet cardstock that we trimmed to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches. And for the accented artistic branch, I am going in slightly at an angle from the bottom corner of the card panel. I really like how this is drawing your eye towards the design of the branch, especially with the ink blended background. Is creating somewhat of a spotlight onto the branch, and I love that. Now going in with my sentiment, I went ahead and popped that up using foam squares. And I adhered it to a top folding card base. Finally, I wanted to add a little bit more interest to the overall card design, so I went in with a few embellishment and just adhere that to some areas onto the card panel. And that completes the card. I hope you found some inspiration and have time to get crafty in your craft room. And don't forget to thumbs up, comment, and subscribe to get notified for any future videos. Okay, until next time, I hope you have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.